All right. It's recording. And let me see. I think I got everybody muted out. Nancy, I can't, for some reason, Vicki, tell her that she's not able to be muted. So that might be a reason why we can't hear her.
Laci's muted too.
All right. I'm going to unmute Laci. Okay, y'all, I am so excited to have my very special friend on here with us tonight. Her and I go back about 3 years. When I first started, she was one of the first people that I talked to. And I believe when she talked to me, I told her, don't even talk to me about this business. I don't want to have anything to do with this business. So don't even talk to me about it. If you talk to me about it, I'm going to send my products back. Well, she talked to me about it anyways. And I have watched her, and you know, it's when I first started, what I wanted to do is emulate the people that were a success. And she's one of the people that I have watched, and I have fashioned myself after. I have sought her advice on so many things, and she has always been there to support me and this entire team. And she was our company's very first $1 million earner. She is our company's latest $3 million earner. She is platinum executive, on her way to ambassador, and I would like to introduce you to Laci Friend. So, hey, Laci.
Yay. Thank you. Excited to be here with you guys, and I absolutely do love you, and it's our team that, you know, hits platinum, and our team who hits ambassador, and you are all a big part of that, and I am so grateful. So I'm excited to be here and be in the hot seat for questions.
I know. Well, we have got a lot of them, but before we start, I want you to introduce yourself. I want you to tell, and I know I told them all that you used to bake cupcakes in your kitchen to be a stay-at-home mom to make ends meet. And can you start just back there, just where it started, and tell about how you got from there, and just kind of just an overview of your journey and how amazing the journey has been, and kind of cast the vision.
You bet. Okay, so to start out, I heard about this for a good year and turned my nose up, made fun of it, joked with my husband that everybody was drinking the Kool-Aid, and just thought, these people are nuts, right? Like, they're all acting like this is some wonderful thing, and how can it be? Because everything else, you know, has failed. And what's really funny is I've not really tried anything else. I just watched other people, and it would work, and then they'd fail, and they'd quit doing it. And I'd be like, oh, see, that one didn't work either. I didn't need to jump in. Well, the difference here was it was working, and they were still talking about it, and they were still talking about it. And I was like, you know, this is lasting a little longer than the rest of them, but I don't need that stuff. I have a small amount of weight to lose, is what I thought, you know. And that's all I believed, is that I could probably lose 10 pounds. And I thought to myself, I don't need that. I can just eat well and exercise. Meanwhile, I'm exhausted. I'm not exercising. I'm not eating well. If I did, I would do it for a while and it wouldn't work. And then I'd say, forget it. I'm going to eat the brownies again. And, you know, like, if I'm only going to lose a couple pounds in a whole week, that I said no to all the things that I love. And I did it, you know, I was trying to do that by myself with all those cravings. It wasn't worth it. Well, lo and behold, I'll tell you what, asking and asking and asking again is the key, right? We all know follow-up. Well, I had heard about it for over a year, and I got invited to a party, and I was like, oh, no, thanks, but no. And she was like, just come. And I was like, oh. She's like, no one's coming. It's an ice storm. These people are driving 2 hours. It's New Year's Eve. I just need you to sit in the chair. Please, I'm just begging you to sit in the chair. You don't have to do anything else. So I said that to my husband. He's like, no, that's the way they do it. And so I'm like, okay, I want to do this for my friend, as a friend. I won't even take my purse. I went in my pajamas with my hair up in a knot, I think, or in a hat. And I walked in and I was like, I'm not buying anything. Just want you to know, I'm not going to buy anything. Like, everybody get that straight real quick. I didn't bring my purse, you know. So they start talking about it. And I'm not about to show it on my face, but inside I'm thinking, wow, why haven't I heard about supplementing? I never grew up hearing about supplementing. And sounds like some of these things are tools, and it sounds like even if I eat well and exercise, I'm still missing some things, or I had tools that could help me with those cravings, or I could sleep better. That had nothing to do with weight loss, and I could feel less stressed, and there's so many things, you know. And so I sat there stone face, and when it's all over, I go in the other room, and Calla Stadell lives in the town I grew up in, and I knew her, and I just said to her, okay, is this legit? Is this, whatever? Anyway, and she's like, Laci, it is. And so I said, I got to go home and talk to my husband. He is going to flip because I was coming to not do anything. And we have a K tag, and 20 miles an hour. It's the speed. Sorry. My 18-year-old is driving on the interstates, and yeah. So anyways, long story short, I go home, and Kansas City.
Oh. I saw El Dorado on Wellington.
I'm so sorry. How funny. Anyway, we go home, and I walk in the door, and he is like, oh, great. And I was like, I haven't bought anything. I haven't bought anything yet. And I said, you've got to sit down and look at this. So end of the night, we had 2 kits ordered, because why in the world would I do it by myself or leave out my best friend? And we started together, and that's the rest of the story. About 3 or 4 months in, we had lost 30 pounds, and I lost 30, he lost 40, and all kinds of other things. His debilitating, excruciating headaches that would put him in bed, gone. One of my kids has allergies and asthma, so much better. My other children were doing so much better with just eczema and overall health and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, and honestly, I told everybody I wasn't going to do this business, but that's what I said with my mouth, but that's not what I really thought in my head. I just didn't want them to get on me or whatever. So I just said, I'm not going to do that part. On the third day, I called my mom and my sister. I'm like, you'd be nuts not to do this, because it is phenomenal and we feel great. And I was baking cupcakes, sugar cookies, cake pops, and I wasn't even wanting to eat them. They were all over the counter. And I was like, how am I not wanting to eat this? This is so weird. Like, something's in this stuff, and so they got it. A couple of my friends ended up getting it. I think the first week I, actually had my fast cash. And then, of course, those wheels started turning. I was like, that was really easy. I just love it, and I want to tell everyone. And at the end of I don't even know if I put my pictures up at the end of 8 days, but I do think after about a month or 2, I put them up, and it just went crazy. And from that point on, I've done nothing else, you guys. The secret sauce, the magic, the, thing that you want everyone to tell you is consistency. That's it. I do a daily checklist, and I don't know if you guys have that. I can give it to you if you don't, but it's the same thing every day. I knew at some point I'd run out of friends, so I make new friends every day. I knew that everybody wasn't going to do it on the first day, because it took me a year. So I follow up with people all the time, and I try to engage there. Every time I make a Facebook post, which, that's on the checklist too, to do every day, some personal ones and some singular, either business or, just switching it up. Other people's pictures, my pictures. My story is always the most powerful story, because people know me, or my family. But not everybody is going to bite on that. And there are certain people I knew that would be amazing, and they needed the product because they'd said things in the past to me, or they'd be amazing at the business. And so I had to go out and ask them. It was, that deep breath and saying, okay, it's not the easy ones where they're asking, oh, the lights came on behind you guys. That's pretty. Anyway, it was like twinkles all of a sudden, sparkly. Anyway, so I had to go out and engage people, even though they weren't asking me. I had to check in once I had people going, because if I get my customers the very best results on the planet, they're more likely to share. They're going to keep using it. Residual income is like you'd go through a brick wall to get it. That's your auto ship retention. That's people staying on the product. So the more I can connect the products to their results, the more they're ordering every month. I check in with my customers from 7 years ago. I don't check in with all of them in one day. I have it all broken up, and I just move it forward in my calendar. I work with my team. I hold their hand, and I always tell people that's a good thing. I love my husband, and I want to hold his hand. When my babies were born and they were old enough to walk, what's the first thing I did? Hold their hand, because I love them. And it's a way to show, or a way to show affection, but also show the way across the street or in singular or whatever, And pretty soon, somebody's just like you, Melissa. I mean, I know you have more than me. You have Monica, you have Kara, you have, everybody. But like, you did that at first a lot more, and now you're so much more independent. That's what happens, once we're growing up in this business. And then what we do is turn around and talk to the next new people and help them and hold their hand. But I still check in with my first line all the time. And I always will, and I'm always there to help, and I'm always in their chats, because showing people that we have a huge support network, that you're never alone. Just because someone knows how to do it doesn't mean they take over more of it, but I'm always still there and sharing my story for more belief and more to show that support and help. And then it does say post, and it says, read or watch a video on Room at the Top, or learn something on YouTube, or do something every day to learn and grow. And this right here is the most powerful thing in this business, for good and for bad. If you believe you can, you're right. If you believe you can't, you're right. If you get disappointed because someone returns it, and you're tired of checking in on people, or you just don't want to work because you don't feel like it, this right here is the most powerful tool. And so even on the days I don't feel like it, when I have that checklist and I'm consistent, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it when I don't feel like it. I'm going to check in on the people when I don't feel like it. I am going to reach out and talk to somebody new even when I'm afraid. I am going to hit people on my chicken list. I am going to do it anyway, even when I don't feel like it, because at the end of your feelings is nothing. Literally, there's nothing there. When you apply a principle, you have a promise. And what I mean by that is people who are consistent are more successful. That's a principle and a promise. If I said, I just don't feel like I'm going to be, there's nothing there, because that doesn't determine anything. So you have to really be in that mindset. And so learning and growing and talking to your leader and talking to your team and, encouraging people, and give away what you have and give away what you don't have. If you're struggling, then love on everybody, because then it comes back to you and it lifts you up when you check in on people and, go to the right ones. I mean, have you had the customers or the team members who everything out of their mouth is negative, and the day you sign them up, you're thinking, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a return here? I do. Well, those are not the ones I reach out to on the days that I'm struggling. I wait for a strong day on those people, right? But on the days that I reach out to my leader and my friends and, remember why I did this, and look around at the people that I love in my family that are healthier, that we've been able to, my word, since May, we graduated a kid, went to Hawaii, bought a car, went to Miami. We're leaving for Utah next week. We'll get back for 4 days and go to Canada. And, I look at my life and how different it is from the stay-at-home mom whose husband worked his tail off from 5:30 in the morning when he left till 7 o'clock when he got home. And we could still not get through all the bills and have any money left. We couldn't go to the movies and do fun things. And so I'm going to say yes to my dreams that are going to be reality, to the people's lives who are changed, because those are the ones God had for me. And I'm going to say no to the people who turn their nose up or turn me down or return it, or I know my products work. It's just that they decided it wasn't for them and it didn't work for them at this time. But it's not the products ever, in my opinion. I don't know if y'all listened to Room at the Top the other day, but there was a lady on there that did her 8-day challenge and only lost 3 pounds and had a lot of weight to lose. And she has lost over 150 pounds now. Now, think of that. 3 pounds on an 8-day. A lot of people would be like, oh, how discouraging, But we don't focus on the scale. We focus on the change. And so, anyway, I tell all of my frontline, turn your checklist in every day. Why is that? You've heard of Pearson's Law. When you actually write it down, when it's recorded, it's more likely to happen. Duh, because you're actually accountable to yourself. And then when it's reported, then it grows exponentially, your success and your outcome. So that means turn it in, take a quick picture of it, put it in your success chat, your Voxer, your, whatever it is that you guys communicate on in your group or whatever. And when you write it down and then turn it in, your rate of success, is exponentially different. It doesn't double or triple. It grows by so infinitely amounts. So anyway, it's consistency. So there was my beginning, my story. You guys, I had an entrepreneurial spirit. It's ridiculous. I'd done so many things. That's why my husband was like, no, and no, because I had done so many things. And he's like, oh, for the love, lady, just quit. Stay home, take care of the kids, do the dishes. I don't know, stop it. And so, just something else coming along. I think he was just like, oh, wow. Okay. I mean, is she ever gonna? But I know right now, God, uses all things for his good, and he has the plan for us. He promises us in Romans and in Jeremiah And that was his plan for me, to do all the other things, to learn something, to fail a lot, because he had something here for me. And so now we laugh about it. We get on a plane and one of us pats the other. So I'm like, aren't you glad I didn't quit? Aren't you glad I did this, even though you didn't want me to? Or, so many people are that girl from 7 years ago. So don't give up on people. Don't change your own passion to match their desire and their helplessness. You be the one that breathes the life into them. You be the one that stands strong. You be the one to infuse faith in them that they can do it, because that's truly our job. It's not to give up on people who say no once or say no 15 times. We know, we're on the other side. They don't know what they're saying no to. And so we have to do it for them. So anyway, yeah, I think that's what you asked me and a whole lot more.
It was, but I love it. I love your wisdom, and I love that you've been where we are. So there's nothing. And that's what I tell this team all the time. The only thing different about me and you is I've just done it a little bit longer. Same thing with you. The only thing different between me and you is you've just done it a little bit longer than all of us. So we can all get there. And it's just like you said, you got to just put your head down and work. And not be scared to work. You can't have a millionaire's salary on a minimum wage work ethic. That's the thing. That's the difference. I've got some questions for you that some people have turned in. If you're game for that, and it's just a smorgasbord. So there's no order. It's just questions. So the first one you kind of hit on, and I want to go ahead and have you hit on this a little bit more. Our businesses are not nearly as big as yours, and sometimes it's hard to keep organized. What kind of organizational system do you have?
So I buy the Singular calendar from Lindsay Bacon, and it's really awesome because it has so many things built into it, and I really like that. I do find that I am more of a phone calendar person than a paper calendar person. It's easy for me to put everything in my phone, and then when I've done it for the day, I move it forward. Like if I'm checking on someone on their 8th day, it might say KDD1, and then as soon as I check on her, I move it to the next day and change it to a 2, and the next day, and that way I never let anyone fall through the cracks. But that daily checklist, I'm telling you, for me is the key, because there's a little section at the bottom that says hot list, like the people who are really interested that you just haven't heard back from, or they're right there and you want to keep on them and encouraging them. And then I'll just flip it over on the back, and if I have leads or people who ask, I track everything, and I'll put everybody's name on there, and a B if I put them in my results group. So I forget what yours is called, but get you a letter that is associated with your results group, and a D for Dare to Dream, because that's the business results group. And then if I've started a chat, I put a C. And that way I know right where they're at. And then when I'm following up in a week or a month, I can actually flip back in my notebook. So my best piece of advice is print yourself 370 of them. That way you have a whole year plus a few when you go to reprint and you don't get behind. And 3-hole punch them and put them in a notebook. I've even had people go to like a Kinko's or Office Max, and they'll spiral bound it for you. And they just put a title page on the front. They have this booklet that they carry that in their phone or that in their calendar. And they flip it open and they fill that out every day, turn it over on back, write leads and extra things you want. And then you have it all in one place. You can put that in your purse, or get yourself a cute little bag that you carry every day, just like you do your purse, and put your calendar and your thing in there with some pins or some whatever, and keep yourself like you get in a car and you put on a seatbelt. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I do not get in cars and not put a seatbelt on. It is a non-negotiable thing. And so to stay organized is non-negotiable, because you will lose all your leads, all your customers, everything you've built if you're not organized. And if you're not an organized person, then you're going to have to work harder. It doesn't mean you don't have to be organized. It means you work harder at it, and you have to make it a priority. So I would say know whether you're a paper pen kind of person in a calendar or your phone, because you want to keep your dates and all that stuff. And then the second piece of that to me, and if you need to come up with a different system than the daily checklist, I keep track of everyone. I don't lose anyone. I don't lose leads, because they're all in the book. And then I have it every single place I go. If I find a 10-minute pocket of time that I have to sit and wait on, the oil change or the car wash or whatever, I'll pull that out and just do a section. You don't have to do the whole sheet all at once, but once you get those 5, write it in, and then, you know, if you wait till the next time. Some people fill out the entire checklist the night before with who they're going to do, and the next day just put hash marks next to the numbers. So you'll find a way that works the best for you. But for me, it's my phone. Honestly, it's all of them. The phone, the calendar, and that booklet. But I always have all 3 at my fingertips so that I can keep track of everyone, because as your business gets big, it's harder. And you will wish, because I wish, that I could go back and on day 1 have done that, because I made the checklist, so it didn't even, you know, it didn't exist then, but I wish I had done it way back then, because I know there's tons of people that fall through the cracks. And now, if I get them all written down and I can keep everybody organized on their 8-day and my team, it's super easy to keep it on there. I threw a couple extra sheets in there in the back, like blank paper, and I'll write my front line, just so if I want to reach out to them all, I have a list right there. I don't forget them. You know what I mean? And just those types of things. There's a place in your calendar for that too. So.
Yep. So for those of you who do not know, the things that are on this daily checklist are the things that I tell you to do every single day. You add to your friends list, you talk to new people, you follow up with people, and and you post on your page. Post on the adventure page. You post on your personal page. You do a personal post. You do a singular post. It's the same thing that we talk about all the time. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Definitely. Okay, you ready? If you could change anything about your journey, what would it be and why?
That was good. That's a deep philosophical one. I know what it is exactly. Besides the organized thing that I just said, I think even greater than that, I would have built my belief in the business way faster than I did. I drug my feet forever, and I mean years, not months, years. I would have found a way to accept that, because it was changing my life just as fast as the products, but I was scared to death to tell people, because I thought that they would think, oh, she just wants me to join her business. If I would have had the kind of faith and belief and passion about the business that I have now 7 years ago, I can't even imagine where it'd be. Because let me tell you, it's a lot harder when you've lost somebody because they can't afford it to try to drag them back in and get them to do the business than if I would have just told them about it right at the beginning. And they would have been excited, and it was new, and it was, you know, all those things. So I definitely would have done that. And if I could give you a tip right now, it's much easier to talk about the business and then fall back on products than it is to talk about the products and then try to talk them into the business also. And what I mean by that is, if you can go out of the gate with everyone and say, oh my gosh, you have got to check out what I'm doing. It has blessed my family. You'd be so good at this because you're outgoing and connected, and you love to help people and, you know, compliment them. And then say, you want to check it out or whatever, right? You talk to them about the business. This has just been amazing for my family in every way with the products and the business. I think you'd be good at it. Would you be interested in making some extra money every month? Would you be interested in traveling for free? Whatever. And if they say no, it's easy to say, oh my gosh, okay, well, you at least have to check out the products. And I'm telling you, when they change your health so much, you're going to want to change your mind about that too. But let's at least look at the products right now. And everybody says yes. If I go to product, and they say, yeah, I can't afford it, I don't think, oh, well, you want to look at the business? Do you see what I mean? Like, it's harder to do that than it is to start with business and then say, oh, well, gosh, okay, if you don't want to make the extra money, at least look at the products is better than trying to get them on the products and then them saying no, or oh, even if they say yes and you say, oh, well, okay, well, we have these ways you can start, and one of them is sharing it with others. You know, it's a little harder. So I would give you a tip to start with business and go to products, and that might be one of those big deep breaths and just step out of the boat onto the water kind of moments for you, and I get it, but that is my biggest regret. I would have grown a lot faster, a lot stronger, a lot deeper, a lot wider if I would have started with absolute belief and faith in the business like I had in the product.
I love that. And that is a scary thing. But and I was the same way as you for the first year and a half. I didn't want people to roll their eyes and say, oh, she's just trying to get my money and she just wants me to be her little puppet on a string. That's what I thought too. But I think it was when we went to Costa Rica together and that whole big epiphany that I had when I came back is when, it didn't matter what other people thought. I was building something for me and my family and helping the ones that wanted to be helped. So, yes, I definitely understand what you're saying. Okay, here's a good one. You ready for this one? What's the biggest check that you've had in one day?
Oh. I have to ask my husband. That's why I'm looking back there. Here's a funny thing about Laci friend. I have no idea how much money I make. I have no idea when I get paid. I have not a clue. They have to call me and tell me when I hit the million. I thought I was way far away. The 2, the 3 million. Yeah, no idea. Do you know? It's on a Monday. I'm sure of it. Right?
Monday you get your bonus, I'm sure.
Right, on a Monday, and when I hit the bonus. Yeah, you're gonna die when I say this, and that was my guess too. Around 50 grand in a day.
Wow.
Because
one day,
$50,000. Because when it's a Monday and you get paid multiple times, and it's a end of the month bonus period, the bonuses are insane. Like my bonus alone can be 30 or 40 for the month, and so I would guess around 50.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
We will all be there one day. We will all be on this. Somebody asking us and us telling somebody, oh, 50 grand in a day. I'm just saying.
I know, right? It almost seems unreal. And one night, my son and I were talking, one of my kids and I, my middle one, and I were sitting there talking about it. I said, you know what is so crazy? Is I make in 1 month more than what Chris and I made combined in a year. In 1 month, what the two of us combined made in a year. Yeah. And that's like, wow. When we hit the 3 million, we were sitting at the kitchen table and they called to tell me, and I said to Chris, okay, how long would we have to work? Like in our jobs, if we made whatever, and just kind of try to figure it out with inflation and increases, and never. That's the answer. Yeah, never. We wouldn't have been able to. We'd have died first. Like, even if we never retired and we started working when we graduated from college, both of us have a degree, we never would have made that much money. Yeah. Isn't that something? Yeah. In 7 years, less than 7, it was 6.5 years.
50 years.
Wow. Amazing.
Years of working.
Amazing. Okay, here's a good one. You ready?
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone to recruit professionals off their chicken list?
Advice to give people to recruit a professional?
I think she's frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello?
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I was like, oops, I hope I don't lose you. Advice I would give on approaching a professional on your chicken list, right?
Yes.
My advice would be do it. But beyond that, I would say be very personable, relational, and complimentary. And so don't do a canned message. I like to build relationships first. And so talk about them, check in on them, let them talk about themselves. And just, if you know them, then I would be like, how is it going in your law firm? And tell me a little bit about what you guys offer. I sometimes have people ask me for different types of attorneys, but I'm not sure what which part of the law that you typically, what do you want to say? They kind of, what am I trying to say? If they're a certain kind of, if they're in family law or if they're in this and that. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I was like, I can't get the word out of my mouth. Yeah. So I would be just really asking them about themselves, and then I would compliment them. And then I would say, hey, that might go on for a few days. I'm not even kidding. Like, I am not quick. If you're filling your funnel all the time, you don't have to try to get someone from the top and out the bottom hole in the same moment, And so I just build that relationship. I go to their page. I like their family pictures, their vacation. I comment. I ask questions. So they answer. Then they're seeing my stuff. And then I send them that message. Oh my gosh, your vacation looked great. I haven't talked to you in forever. You know, those kinds of things. And then they usually will ask how I'm doing. Just, it's a natural thing. Like, you ask all about their stuff, they say, how are you? And that's my opportunity. Oh my gosh, we've been on a couple trips. I'm loving it. Gosh, have you seen what I do? And oh wow, I can't believe I haven't thought of telling you, because you'd be, and then I start complimenting. And would you take a look at it? Could I meet you for 5 or 10 minutes? And let's talk about it. And that's kind of how I do things. That's definitely building relationship, interacting, asking them questions. They ask me, it's my open door, and then I compliment them. If you don't know them, it's a lot. You know, like, I would follow them on Facebook. I would comment. I would do all the things I could to build a relationship. And that one might take longer to get through the funnel. Did that come through?
Yes. Well, I think we're going in and out just a little bit. So, but yes, but the gist of it, yes, we got that. Okay, I'm going to ask one more.
Okay.
I'm going to ask one more, and then
Okay.
what has your favorite part of this journey been?
My favorite part of the journey?
Yeah.
The people.
Yeah.
That's it. It's that simple. You could give all the money in the world back, but I can't even imagine my life without the amazing people that are in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, from our corporate owners, leaders, the people who work in those offices, every single person in this company, sister teams, sidelines, and of course, my team. I love our team.
Mhm.
And then even my customers. There are people that I am lifelong friends with.
Uh-oh. Can y'all hear?
But she's muted.
Who did I wonder?
You muted yourself.
Oops. Oh, that's funny. See, anybody can do this. Okay, where was I?
The friends, the people, the customers, the lifelong friends, and yeah.
Yeah, the people that are in the company that aren't even on my team, and of course our team.
Yeah.
And then honestly, my customers.
Yeah.
And there are so many people I sit and think about, wow, I would have never met them. How is that possible? You know, how is it possible that my life, that I wouldn't have these people in it, because they make me a better person? And then if I could tag a second one, you guys, when you're making 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000 in a year, it doesn't matter. Giving is the greatest blessing that God has given me throughout this whole thing. To have the money, I mean, what in the world am I going to do with all this? I mean, I can't even think of enough things to go do or buy, but to give to people who need it. I was there. I've been that person. And that is literally one of my favorite things on earth for my family to do, for me to do, you know, for Chris and I to do, is to give. So
I think that's amazing. And I am so thankful that you have agreed to come on here. You've been very insightful. We have learned a lot, I'm sure. And you want to talk just a minute about your nonprofit that you were able to create, because I think that's amazing. I think that's something that that all of us, you know, is inspirational. And you know, I know that it means a lot to you.
it does. It does. I don't get to go this year because of just the way the trips worked out, and that's heartbreaking. But I got to take my first mission trip because I could, because I have the time and I have the money. Went with my church to Africa. And while we were there, God legitimately woke me up in the middle of the night and put it on my heart that these kids needed help. There were kids that would walk miles to stand outside of the school but never get to go in because they didn't have the money for the fees or the books or the uniforms. but they would stand there because they wanted to be close to it. And I thought, oh my gosh, like how is this? How can this be? So I asked them if they knew about, World Vision, Fashion Child. Surely there are these programs, and they were like, no. And so I thought I would just connect them. And then God, was like, no, you're going to do one. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Well, he put all the right people in place that knew how to start a non-for-profit, that knew what to do with the banking, and a bunch of people from my church that rally behind you to believe in your God dream, which is what we do here in Singular. And Singular is a vehicle to give you the funds to go do other things that are in your heart, right? It's just the vehicle. The destination is really, what does God want you to do with that? Then you feel better, so you're going to shine your light. You're going to have more money, so you can actually have the time and the resources to go do something spectacular. So anyway, Our Hope was born. It stands for Restoring Hope. And we have 47 kids in Africa and 35 kids in India that we go every single year. Somebody from our team goes. I've been every single year, except for this one. But we have all of those kids who are now going to school. They have the fees, the books, the uniforms, and food. And so it's something that just goes right along with becoming more. Because I'll tell you what, Restoring Hope, obviously God gave us that name, but that's what we do in Singular too, We restore hope in people. And then it gave us the finances to restore hope in children. And we have watched it happen now for 5 years. Like, these kids completely change. They're healthier. They have a hope for the future. They are excited and they're learning. And that is their key. And we don't want to take them out of their country. We want them to help make their country better. And so anyway, that's what Our Hope is. And we have a website. It's called ourhope.life. And it's just the letter R, hope.life. And you can see even our kids on there if you just wonder what they look like. So it is the greatest pleasure to be able to do that. And it's 100% of the money goes to the kids because we pay for all incidentals. We fly on our own, our team, like we pay for every stamp and piece of paper so that all the money goes to the child. And we will forever do that. And we may have to stay small. I mean, we're always looking for sponsors because all of our kids are not sponsored, but yet, and it's only $37, and that literally goes to that child. And can you even believe that? It pays for their whole year of school, their books, their uniforms, and even we have leftovers sometimes to buy them a mattress or a solar light or medicine. Or we had a girl who had surgery because we were able to raise the funds and stuff for her. So anyways, thanks for letting me tell about that.
Yes, that's we are very mission oriented on this team right now. We've got Nancy who is getting ready for her mission trip to Haiti. Her mom has a school in Haiti. She's been going for 35 years, and her mom's
Awesome.
83 years old. So we're right now, our team is just we're focused on helping others because people have a heart for missions and have a heart for the less fortunate than us. Us and our first world problems. You don't think about you don't think about so many. There's so many that are so much less fortunate than we are. But thank you, Laci. I love you so much.
Love you.
I love all of you on this team. I am so excited to see y'all. You guys are blowing it up today, and y'all keep going. If y'all need us, we're here. And I guess we're just going to end it with that. Love you guys.
Thank you. Love y'all.
Bye.